Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here, and welcome to another series of Small Bites to Money Mastery. And our purpose is just to come here every week on Thursday night and um, just sharing my knowledge to whoever would like to receive it. It just reminded me of the quote that he said that yes, when the student is ready, teacher will arrive. So some of you are watching me live, which is that always shows your commitment to your learning and to your family and yourself. And some people will watch it later on perhaps YouTube and other areas. But yes, at the end of the day, we are here to help. Um, Honey, could you please put your self on mute, doll? Thank you. And yes, and what happens is that uh, actually today I was in another meeting or networking group, and I was honored to be one of the roundtable expert. And yes, I was just delivering the same material almost live. Yes, and it's always great. I mean, before COVID, we always used to do this live. But yes, because of COVID, we all went online, and but yeah, it's a completely different dynamic. So when it's live, it's just too many questions there, which I love it. Of course, I always say that maybe I don't know the answer to every questions, but I will do my best. And my plan is just to give my knowledge um, selflessly and share it with others. Because by helping you to become a better version of yourself financially, yes, we are creating a better world for ourselves, our children, and in future. And tonight's topic, we're talking about tax and debt. Um, Look, if you are watching this later on, the recorded one, please put the hashtag replay, or if you are watching it live, please put there live. But the whole idea is that these two words, tax and debt, I don't know where you're coming from and what's your background and what's your situation, but what do you think? How is your feeling when you hear the word tax and debt? Okay, so think about it, because for some people they don't like either of these words, because they think, okay, tax is seems like a fine that for doing something good that you have to pay to government, or debt. Nobody likes, or majority of people, they don't like to be in debt because it just makes them feel uncomfortable. They think that they owe it to someone or something, or even it's a bank, or if borrow money from a family or friend or parents, they don't like the word debt because they think it's somebody is giving or making them a favor and they have to repay it somehow. But that's what we are trying to change the mindset here, because um, tax and debts are the two main words that the people that use these two to is the tools to create wealth. And this is how the people who are in wealth creation, they know exactly how to use these two. uh, Imagine tax is something that you pay to government, because you've done, yes, you created a good income, and you have to pay partly back to government because to help the society. The problem is this: so many people, when I say to them, okay, imagine if your money, uh, you double your money, what happens? Sometimes the first thing they say is that that means I have to pay more tax. So please do not be afraid of tax. Please do not be afraid of debt. We got a message here. Yes, I know. Thanks, Shia, for your message. Yes, this is exactly right. You were one of them. Believe me, even I used to be one of those people who didn't like debt. Okay, because that was our conditioning. This is how we grow up, that oh, you don't borrow money, and so because you don't want anybody to come and knock at your door and say that yes, you have to give my money back. It was more of like a shame to borrow money. But that's the good thing of knowledge, because now through knowledge we know how to use things that we don't like or we think we don't like, uh, to create something better. Because tax and debt, these are the tools that you can use as a leverage. Maybe not directly, but it can be used as a leverage to create wealth. And actually government encourages everyone to have debt. You may think in the beginning that, okay, if they encourage you, so obviously there is a benefit for them. You see, government is actually, they're running a business. Let's look at it as it is, okay? It's another just a big monopoly business. And what they want to do is just they want to create more job, to create more money, to create more taxes. And this is just a circle, okay? Just imagine this just a small circle. By creating borrow money and getting taxes, this circle is just from inside out is growing. And that's what how a government or how an economy grows. And that's why in olden days we used to see that people used to fight and war between countries, because that was the only way to go to a neighboring country and get some money out and just try to rob them. That used to be the way. But now this is not the way. There are smarter ways to it. Yes, literally it is almost the same way, but they are actually using the debt and taxes to create wealth. And now with the way that the whole world are basically just become one small place, you can borrow money here and invest in another country, or go to another country and borrow there and invest somewhere else. So world has just become one small place now. But now we are going more deep into it to see how this works. In my membership group last night, actually, we were talking about in more details how this works, which is outside the scope of this training. But I will just try to get you to change that mindset as much as possible, to be prepared to use tax and debt. And what I'm trying to say, that please do not be afraid of it, and actually start having a good relationship with both tax and debt. The debt, actually, they say that there is a quote, they say, one thing that's definitely guaranteed in life, because, there's nothing technically guaranteed in life, but only two things are guaranteed. One is taxes, and one is debt. Not debt, debt. So, and some of the debt, they actually will not die with us. We will pass it on to the next generation. So that's why, instead of escaping from it and running away from it, we need to find out what it is and how we can use it in our own advantage. So you may think that why government give incentives to take the debt by asking us to pay less tax. See, government says that the more you borrow money, will give you incentives to pay less tax. See, it just looks like a seesaw. You borrow more, you pay less tax. Have you ever thought why this is the case? Or even you even know that is the case? Okay. If you have personal debt, so for your own, let's say, car, your own home, something, whatever is personal, of course, doesn't matter how much you borrow, you cannot claim anything, you still pay the normal tax. But government is allowing us to claim the debt, the interest rate, and all those associated costs with borrowing money, which was used for investment. So, and then claim it in tax. Because that's the only way to make people to contribute into economy. Because government by itself, they cannot just create job just like that. They have to give incentives to me and you as an investors to participate. So, and the incentive is always is tax money. And one of our primary reason for this incentive is that they want that only entrepreneurs they are aware of this. Okay, and even if you don't have a business, nobody can stop you from developing entrepreneurial mindset, because that means that you will find the opportunity, how to grab opportunity that exists and apply the knowledge. Because remember, my slogan is knowledge by itself means nothing. Only when it's applied, then there is a value in there. So then you can turn it and use the tax and debt to create the wealth for yourself. So as an entrepreneur, imagine you are an entrepreneur now. So are you willing to take the risk, okay, for debt to leverage your business or buy assets? It's one of the questions I had in today's session, the live session we had. Somebody asked this question that, okay, if I have, let's say, $100,000 money, should I go and, because with the 100,000 I cannot go buy a property or something, probably, so not something that I like to buy, but maybe it's better to use that to put it in the business, because business is going to create more income, and once I'll make more money, then I will invest it into assets. Okay, I want to share something with you. Business, yes, it is an asset, but it's only asset when it's proven that it is generating money. But for many people, the business is actually, they have created a job. So if you are starting a business, okay, if you are new in that game, because that's absolutely different game, you need to first make sure the business is having enough turnover. And even if you step back from business, or even if you make yourself part-timer in the business is actually making enough money, then that's the time to grow business. Many people, they just go with so many ideas, they are so excited, they want to fix everything right in the beginning in the business. But unfortunately, this is how the business collapses, because they try to grow so fast. The growth in the business, it should not be fast. Whatever is growing fast, I'm sorry, is going to die fast too. Because for anything, even a tree, if it grows too fast, that means the roots are very weak. Okay? So in business, we need to first make sure this business is really having the income, and it's by growing the business, we are not making it weak. And this is how so many businesses actually collapsed during the GFC, when all the mining boom went down in WA and around the country, or around I don't know, wherever else you guys are from. I'm sure you all have experienced the GFC, as well as what happened in the last 2 years of COVID. Another thing I want you to know is, if your business is affecting or is affected by what happens in the market, that means it's not a business. That means you are just a commodity, because it's only commodities, and commodity means like gold, oil, and whatever you can exchange it for value. So those things will be affected by market. Of course, we will get affected, but not harshly. So, but for the businesses who collapsed during those problems, that means their business setup was not strong enough, and they were basically running as a commodity. So, and that's now going back to our tax and debt. It's the way that to make sure your business is surviving is when we have enough cash available to inject into business, just in case something happens, whether it's in the market or around the world. So if you are ready and willing to take the debt, because that's the next step, let me ask you this question, and please pause for a moment before you answering it. And my question is this: how do you decide between taking debt or not taking debt? Imagine if I say to you that, okay, you wanted to, you said you want to invest in something and you have $50,000. What would you think? How do you feel if I say to you that, are you willing to borrow money more to invest or not? Have a pause in there and think about it. Okay, you don't have to share it here, but the same for many people. They said, oh, no, I'm not comfortable to borrow money because they think they cannot afford it, because they are not, their mindset is not ready to take on more debt, or they are already been done that, burned by the situation. Like I had another client who recently divorced, and this gentleman, he said that he lost his first home in the first marriage, so he's never going to go buy property again. It is just that his mindset is not letting him to do anything right now. Okay, so there is nothing wrong with the people's mindset. It's only that we have to be prepared for the consequences. And obviously I'm not a mindset coach. I cannot change people's mindset, but I can only impart my knowledge to you guys to see that how does it feel, or how does it look like if you change your mindset. So after working with numerous entrepreneurs and clients, I've come to this conclusion that there is only one question that you need to consider before taking debt. And the question is this: if this was your own money, okay, would you be willing to invest it in the same thing or not? Because again, like another client was talking to him, and he said that he's got about $500,000 cash ready to invest, but yes, he's looking for an investment up to $500,000, $500,000 to $600,000 maximum. And my questions to him was that, okay, are you ready to invest? Let's say if this 500,000 wasn't your money, would you be comfortable to borrow 500,000 to invest? And his first answer was that I can't even imagine to put myself in that position to borrow that money, but yes, I'm ready to risk my own money. And that's where the shift comes in, that if you are not ready or willing to put your own money into something, okay, and so that, or you are not ready to borrow money to invest in it, so that means you don't have enough belief, okay, or a strong belief in what is that investment. So because you are scared just in case if this goes wrong, what's going to happen, okay? But if you're ready to put your money, because you think at the end of the, okay, it doesn't matter, if worse comes to worse, I'm going to lose this $100,000. But I always say to people that you need to think about it, that are you ready to borrow the same money and put it into that investment? If you are ready to do that, that means you are committed to make it work. Because even though maybe that's not a very good way to motivate yourself, but sometimes one of the best motivation is to have debt. Those who don't have debt, basically they become not lazy, but they just think that, okay, there is nothing much to do, so what's the point, or I don't have to worry about it. But debt actually keeps us on our tippy toe. It just makes us think more straighter and not to make hasty decisions or just gut feel decisions. Yes, it is good to make financial decisions without fear and greed, but we always need to have something to keep us accountable. So many of my clients have asked me this question, that is it worth to take debt? And my answer, as you can imagine, is that of course, but having debt and obviously paying lots of taxes is like a double-edged sword, they call it. and it's got the both sides are very sharp. But yes, you need to be very careful, and you need to know how to use that double sworded double edge knife or sword. So that's why you need to think about this, that it's like a coin. If you flip it, one side is the debt and one side is the tax. This is a tool for you. So that's what I'd like you to remember, and I'd like to play with different analogy and metaphor. So this is something that you will always remember. I've used the metaphor of flipping the coin in one of my TED Talk, which I said that, okay, why and why not? I invite you to go and watch it. So it's about 10-15 minutes. It's a very short TED Talk. But yes, use this. So I'd like you to remember this next time you see a coin, if you like to see a coin, because these days we all use plastic card. So one side of it, see it as a tax, one side of it, see it as a debt. And just see these two are related, and the combination of these two and how to use it, it's the way to create wealth. So don't be afraid of paying taxes, and don't be afraid to borrow money, okay? These are strong tools that not everybody knows how to use it. And you may think that, okay, it's so simple, like today's meeting, after I was explaining a lot of things to everyone, after that somebody came to me and said, everything you said just made sense. I was just wondering why that I didn't think of it before. And my answer was this, that's the thing. It's just so easy that people actually disregard it, and we try to find something complicated. Okay, so now looking at the messages, any investment or only some particular? Look, those who know me, they know that, okay, when it comes to investment, property is the number one investment for me. Once you made your money into property, then I will go to the next levels, which is obviously the commodities, or mainly gold and some shares. Otherwise, and of course business, but before somebody goes into business, first they need to have the business mind. How can you fix your mindset about debt? Well, definitely we can go through that one in our why exercise that we can do later on, honey. So yes, we can definitely fix that. But just to stay along, so we're going to talk more about that. So I'm going to share some stuff with you guys here. Okay, you have that. So yes, it's all about what you don't know that you don't know. Okay, so until now you used to think that, oh, debt is bad, we shouldn't borrow money, we have to save in order to invest. And people in a very crazy way, they try to escape tax, they try to cheat the taxman, they try to think that yes, and they are even happy to stay small, earn small amount, but not to pay tax. I remember a few years ago somebody came to see me, and at least in Australia we have this, that when kids are small, yes, for people who have their income, husband and wife, their income is below $100,000 and they have kids, they will get some tax benefit back from government because they have a small children. And so this lady, she didn't go back to work after having 2 kids, because she thought by the time she goes to work and earn money and paying taxes, so she's better off stay home rather than going to work. So just for making, according to her, for making only $1,000 a month extra is not worth it to go to work. But when we were looking at them to buy their own home, for her, just for having that $1,000 income, if she would have had that much money, they could have bought their dream home. But just because they're refusing for her to go to work, so they couldn't do it. So it's actually worth it to pay tax. When we can't have it all, we can't say that, okay, I want to have my cake and eat it too. So this is the reality. We need to choose. But in the beginning, until you become to that level, always be happy to pay your taxes, because the more tax you pay, but of course with the strategy, the sooner or you are closer to creating wealth. Okay, that's is the mindset that I want you to have. So many people, as soon as they come to Australia or other countries, they just think, okay, what to do not to pay tax? And that is the wrong mindset, because without paying tax, you are not able to borrow enough money to invest and even buy your own home. And for those who do that, believe me, you will be paying it. And sometimes you'll pay more. You may not pay directly to the taxman, but then later on, if you don't have a good financials and proving records of your income, you have to pay a very high interest rate through financial institution to borrow money to buy a car or even buying your own home. So you will be paying eventually. So, but the best way is to pay to the taxman. So legally, you can use those paperworks to create the actual wealth, okay, rather than just looking at the quick fix. And now, what I wanted to show you is this one. Well, look, apart from political things, I know everybody's got different feelings when it comes to Donald Trump, but even before he becomes a president of America, I always had a very high regards for him, because he is a true businessman. And that's why when he was running for presidential campaign, I made a bet with my friends that he will win, even though many people were making fun of him. But I said, he's a businessman. He's not going to pick up a game if he thinks that he may lose. And yes, and I was so happy that when he won. Okay, again, apart from the political views, Donald Trump, he is the man that he used debt very well to create his wealth. And that's why this quote is from him, that I'm the king of debt. I do love debt. I love it, and I love playing with it. So if Donald Trump says that he loves debt, okay, so that's a very good indication that it is actually worth doing it. And this man has shaken the way that we do investment. He introduced many ways of creating wealth that used to be secret only to very few people, to those 5-7 families in the US. But now, because of his books and the way that he did it, he opened up, basically he opened the curtain and showed us behind the scene of how to create wealth. And personally, yes, I can say that I followed his ways of creating wealth, and this is how I've made my money. So the credit goes to him. So please, don't be afraid of having debt. And you may think that, well, of course, Donald Trump's got a lot of money, he's not worried of debt. But no, there was times that he actually owed more money than he had the assets. So that's where it's coming from, that you need to know how to invest the money. Of course, there's a lot of strategy behind it, and that's why we have the disclaimer every time in our sessions that whatever we talk about is in generic nature. So you need to consider your personal circumstances and talk to an advisor to make sure the strategy is suitable for you. Another thing I'd like to share with you is that I actually shared it last night with my other group, my members. But yes, when it comes to tax, so many people, when they get the money back from taxman, they get so happy. They said, yes, I've got this much money back from tax. but it's actually your own money, and that's why this funny memes is call it intoxication. So it is actually your money, but the way that I teach it is that you get the tax money back, but before it comes to you directly to your bank account and feeling this intoxication, the money is basically goes immediately or directly without even hitting your account, goes directly to create more wealth for you. That's the whole idea, because then it is managed automatically. You don't have to worry about it. You don't need to contemplate to say that, oh, maybe I should do it this time and then next month I will save more money and put it back. No, it takes out all those excuses away, and you can use your tax money to pay off the debt. And when I said paying off the debt, we always talk about recycling debt. Means getting rid of the bad debt and instead having the good debt in there. And the next one is, of course, so many people, they love to talk about the tax and how much tax they're paying, and they hate paying tax. Look, I get it. I deal with clients in a very high income level, and some of them, well, actually, one of my clients, I just saw the tax return the other day, he sent me. Last year, his revenue was about $1.9 million. And if you wonder what does he do, he's a surgeon. And so the tax he paid after all of this, so he paid about $400,000 tax. So yes, this is how much people are paying tax. But the good news is, the $400,000 tax, we managed to reduce it to about $180,000 just because by using some strategy to direct the tax money to pay off some of the debt. So instead of complaining about tax or not to worry about making more income because you are worried about tax, so yes, don't complain, please. Because complaining about tax is not tax deductible. And of course, last but not least is, if you wonder again about tax, that tax is a very hard, subject to understand. So you are not alone. Albert Einstein said that the hardest thing in the world to understand is the income tax. So be happy, you have at least one thing in common with Albert Einstein. So if he thinks that tax is difficult, so of course the rest for the rest of us is the same thing as well. For me, luckily now, I think tax is easy. It's just because I've got to study it, I've got to teach it, so I know how easy it is. It's the same as you take subjects in a school, whatever is your area. Again, my area was maths. You go and try to teach, like the subdivision or multiplication. Is as simple as that. It's all logic. So if you want to know more and learn more, that's what we teach and that's what we do through our membership. And so now I wanted to talk about that, how you can actually create and manage your wealth just only by thinking, acting, and so becoming a wealthier person. Because again, the first slide that showed you, it was we don't know what we don't know. But now you know what you don't know. So that it's totally up to you how much effort you will make to go and learn. And so you will then know more. And of course, this is the reason that why only 5% of the people in the world have over only $2 million. To me, that was shocking when I read this statistics, because 5% of people in the whole world, imagine 95%, if you look at it this way, the other way, to flip it, 95% of the people in the world, they have less than $2 million assets. That is shocking. So it shows all these assets, all these riches that we see, it's just between only 5% of people have got the value or the control over that money. And the reason is that those 5%, because they are patient with their money and they are always trying to learn. Okay, so I don't know whatever you do, whatever is your job, but I'm sure whatever you do, part of your training, whether you're an engineer, doctor, or a teacher, or business owner, you need to every year to just do some courses just to stay on top of things. Okay, that's what we call it, CPD, or doing the development of whatever is the material that you are working. So part of that, you need to learn that. So the same way when it comes to money, you need to know the rule of money. Okay, any game you go play, whether you want to watch even a game in the TV, let's say you just come along and saw a sport, you want to know, okay, how it is, you need to know the rules. So then you can enjoy it. Otherwise, just sitting and watching people throwing balls at each other, it's just meaningless. I remember first time, because I'm coming from Iran, and we don't play cricket in Iran. And first time I met my husband, he tried to teach me how cricket works. And up to these days, I have to say, I still don't get it how this game goes. But okay, I still got just a bit of information. At least I know what's happening. But of course, that didn't change my mind to like it. It just makes it more, not boring, but yes, it's just such a lengthy game to sit and watch. However, but now because you know the rules, you know, okay, that what does it mean? This shot, what does it mean? Or if the referee did, this move, what does it mean? So this is the same thing when it comes to money. But unfortunately, because they don't teach it to us at the school, or there is no classes or a unit in university for us to learn, we are supposed to know how it works. And no wonder only 5% of people have more than $2 million. And no wonder 95% of people are no way near there, because we don't know the rule of game. Money has got its own game. Everything's got its own language. Whatever is your job is, let's say if you're a doctor, of course your terminology is different. So whatever you use, probably I wouldn't understand the word. If you are engineers, I have no clue if you talk in your language. The same way, money has its own language. And the language money, first we need to learn that. And that's what we are just trying to do. And it's part of what is my passion. And I would like to educate more people in that area. And of course, the 5 characteristics of the multimillionaires are the people who are thinking of legacy, the people who are true to their values, and of course they are persistent, they are patient, and they want to help others as well. So in general, we already talked about that. This is, of course, you know who I am, and my vision is that I wanted to help 1,000 families to enjoy the early retirement. So why am I doing it? Because that's my passion. I wanted, at age 46, I was financially independent, but to me it's just until only about a year ago I realized not everybody is like me. It's not about bragging, it's about that I thought this is so simple. Obviously I've been here in this country long enough, more than 20 years, so yes, everybody should become like this. But then I realized, going back there and looking at the client's situation and talking to people, realized that no, unfortunately that is not the case. So, and because I've done it, and I think it was very easy way to get it done, and just thinking that why am I doing it? I want to make more people just to become like me, and so then they will get to do what they love to do. So same way that what I'm doing right now, because I love to do what I'm doing. So the next step from here is Wealthy Nation. We already have some of our valuable members and loyal friends here in this call, and I really appreciate you guys to be here. That means a lot to me. It shows your support, and it shows that how much committed you are. And that's what we are doing. Wealthy Nation is all about having the people who have the same money vibration and values about money, and they want to make it better for themselves. And so that's why imagine that you will have a peaceful life and you are financially abundant and funding whatever that is your dream, whether it's your child's education, whether it's a charity, and or you want to just leave a legacy in the world. So I like to be part of that, because I think there is nothing more valuable than this. And of course, to join Wealthy Nation, that's the link. You could just copy here and put the link there and just see what is it all about. And what is part of Wealthy Nation? Every week on Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. per time, which is the same time that you logged in today. Every Wednesday night we have the closed calls within the group, and we go through the details exactly how things works. And at the moment, because we don't have that many members showing up, so people have more time to ask questions. So it's just having a direct access to me every week live. And of course, the courses or the sessions are recorded, and every Thursday night it's available to go there and watch it. And most of all, we have created a community of people here. And part of that Wealthy Nation, you will have access to all my courses, online courses, for free. So, and these courses are how to do your taxes, how to do your business, start your business and business plan and business startup, and how to do your financial planning, and many other areas to do with the money mindset. So that's what it is all about, and I would like to see more people there. And so yes, if you enjoyed tonight's session, I really like to invite you to please ask your friends or share these links of every Thursday night to your friends, to support others, because there is nothing more than creating a better community for everyone. And I'm just putting my link here. This link is 15 minutes of just a chat with me. If in case you want to know more about this Wealthy Nation, or any other questions you have, I'll be more than happy to talk to you guys. Any other questions for tonight? So hopefully you are more clear about tax and debt, and you can see that how we use tax and debt as a sharp knife to create wealth. Okay. All right. No worries. Wonderful, guys. Again, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Shabnam. It's great to see you guys, and we will see you soon. Have a good evening and have a great weekend. Bye for now.